Hello, lovely people. This is Jack from Guitar Elevation, the channel that is all about helping you elevate your guitar playing. So today we want to elevate our tapping game. So I'm gonna be very honest right off the bat. If you're watching this video just because you're binge watching YouTube lessons, then just close the video, it's not for you. But if you're here to get better and to really grow, buckle up because it's gonna be intense and it's gonna be very rewarding and exciting. Let's go. All right, so if you're watching this video, it's either because you're experiencing some excess noise or you have a bad tapping technique, or you just want to tighten up your playing. Either way, the things I'm going to share with you today will definitely make your tapping better. Now, I'm not going to talk about the biomechanics of the tapping, meaning I'm not going to go into the details of how the tapping is produced and all of that, but we're going to talk and we're going to really focus on the right hand technique and the left hand technique because they're going to be working together in order to make the best tapping sound out there. What I want you to realize here up front is that we only have 3 different situations when it comes to the fretting hand, in my case the left hand. What are those situations? Situation number 1 is when I'm playing on the high E string and where there's no strings underneath my fingers. All the strings are above my fretting hand. The situation number 2 is when I have strings underneath and above my fingers. And situation number 3 is when I'm playing, for instance, on the low E string, where I have all the other strings underneath my fingers. Now for the right hand, we only have actually horizontal movements, right? Or vertical movements, or both. So it's also 3 different situations combined with the other situations of the left hand or the fretting hand. Also, before we start, don't forget to pick up your guitar and do the exercises with me. Go through the exercises as I'm doing them. And I'm playing on A minor pentatonic. I'll generally be starting from the first position, but I also will be playing on all the other positions. Some of the exercises will be played in A minor, A natural minor. Okay, so it depends on the exercise. You'll figure it out, I suppose. In case you don't, you can ask any question you want in the comment section and I'll answer you. So let's start with the first situation. I'm gonna randomly be changing between situations. So let's consider I'm playing on the high E string and it's only my tapping hand, my right hand, that is doing the horizontal movements. Now, I want to mention that I'll be using as much gain as I can, as much delay as I can, just to make more noise. You see, so you hear that? So I'm not using actually this preset where the tapping sounds really clean. You see, so I can even use my bridge pickup and put a very high gain distortion. All right, so like I said, we are going to be moving horizontally with the tapping hand. So here we go, something like that. All right, so of course we're gonna have lots of noise. Some of that noise will be acceptable because there's nothing we can do about it, but some other noise need to be cleaned. In order to achieve that, you can do 2 things. You can either use an old stinky sock. Oh Lord, actually it's not that bad. All right, I'm joking, guys. You can wrap it up around your fret like that, or all right, or we're gonna learn how to mute using our hands. All right, so in this case, when I'm playing only on the first string, meaning I have all the other strings above my fingers, what we need to do is to use the tapping hand and to use the palm of your tapping hand in order to mute all the other strings. By doing what? By gently laying our hand on all the strings I'm not playing. So if you see, it's all muted except for the high E string. That's how it's supposed to be. Now I want to mention also that I use my middle finger in order to tap, but you guys can use the index if you want, or any other finger, it doesn't matter. Because I play fingerstyle, the middle finger suits me, and it suits me also because I can directly switch from tapping to picking. So that's why I use my second finger. And because I have nails, if you see, my tapping technique is a little bit different. So don't bother really looking at my pinky, my little finger here when I'm tapping, but everything else will probably be the same for you. All right, so let's move on. Now, situation number 2 is where, for example, for instance, I'm playing on the G string. That way I have strings underneath my fingers and I have strings above my fingers. So what needs to happen here is a dual muting. So we're gonna do the same thing when it comes to the tapping hand with the right hand, meaning I'm going to be muting all the strings above the G string. Okay, now for all the strings underneath my fingers, I need to use my index finger from the fretting hand. And that index finger, if you look closely, cannot be curved, all right? You cannot be doing that. You gotta lay it on the other strings in a way that the G string is resonating, but the other strings are muted. You see that? So, and that way we'll be able to play a tap without any excess string noise. Very, very good. All right. I would also like to mention that sometimes, not always, but sometimes what I would do with my index finger is that I'll gently move it up so that it touches also the string above the one I'm playing on. So in this case, I'll gently touch the D string to even mute it even more. Okay, so that's a double protection here going on. All right, that's really cool. Let's talk about another scenario. In this scenario, my fretting hand will be moving horizontally as well as my tapping hand will be moving horizontally. However, we're still playing on one string. The problem we're gonna face here is the noise happening from my tapping hand switching positions. That's one of those situations where we can't really mute it 100% unless you're playing in a studio setting. But if you're playing live, what I would recommend is try to, number one, move as fast as you can, of course, and hit the tapped note as fast as you can, because when you hit that note, the volume of that note will be way higher than the sound that is produced with the movement of my right hand. So here's what I mean. If you listen closely, this sound is kind of lost between all the other notes. All right, here's another scenario. I'll be playing on two strings. However, only my right hand will be doing the horizontal movements. So if you see, this movement of going back and forth should usually cause lots of noise. But here it is dampened by the fact that I'm hitting the tap note before or simultaneously when I'm moving. All right, that's cool. Now I want to expand on other strings. Let's do more strings. I want to play on multiple strings, not only two, but a lot more. And I'll be also doing the movements with the right hand. So something like this. What we can also do, if you want to exercise more on muting your strings, you can try and string skip between the strings, meaning I'll start on the E string, then do the G string, then the B string, and do the D string. Something like that. All right. So if you see, I've been trying to keep my index finger laying on those strings and muting them. Everything underneath my finger, and I've been trying to keep my hand gently laying on those strings. Not really. I don't press. I don't press, because if you press, you're gonna cause that noise. But if you gently lay it on those strings, here's the difference. Big difference, right? All right, now let's do a scenario where I'm switching strings and switching positions with the left hand and doing the same thing with the right hand. So I'm switching strings and switching positions. Something like that. In order to make it even harder, instead of repeating every string twice, we can do it only once, like that. All right, very, very good. So there's still one more situation that I believe we could cover. Nothing different from the others, except that here we're doing leaps, big jumps. So it's gonna be harder to mute everything. Something like that. We can do that on the G string or any other string for that matter. Very cool. All right, lovely people. Those were my examples for today. Probably these will be enough for everything that you might encounter in the songs you want to cover or the songs you want to play. Don't forget to download the PDF for the tabs for this lesson. All you have to do is click on the link below and you get the tabs for this lesson and all the other lessons for free. Okay guys, I'll see you next time. Practice well and take care.